we're going to work on integrating our words from other pieces of text, so words from what you read today, into our own writing. And the reason why you want to learn how to do that is, and you might have done this before, is because you want to be able to give direct evidence in your writing. You want to give direct proof of things. So if you say the character is an awful person, you have to give direct proof. That means you want to say the character is an awful person because he says, I hate all black people in the text. That makes him an awful person. So you want to give direct proof. And we're going to be reading stories and reading novels as we go on where people are not great people. Where people really are not the nicest of people. And you want to be able to really give true evidence that this is the case. And this is when you have to learn how to do this. Now there are three types of evidence you can give. You can tag. Tag means you have the quote, and then you have the author's name. You can introduce, which means you say the author's name, and then you say the quote. Or you can embed. Now embedding is the hardest one. Embed is actually part of our vocabulary. When you embed something, you stick it in. So like if I embedded a knife into his head, I would stick a knife right into his head, and it'd be stuck in there. You do the same thing with your quotes. You embed them into the sentences. You shove them right into the middle so that they stick, and they stay. Embedding is more difficult because you have to actually say something with the quote. You're not just saying what the quote is. You have to explain it for it. So when you go to write essays, and I say you need 20 points of quotes, an embedded quote will be worth 10 points, so only 2. Whereas the tag and the introduce will be worth 5 points, so you would need 4. Because embedding is more difficult, and I want to reward you for being able to do something that is hard to do. Alright, so you need the let's not waste energy paper in front of you. So a tag is the quote plus author's name.
You're supposed to write that down?
Don't write this down. This is just an example. Alright, now you're going to write this next part down. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. The quotes that I'm using are right here on the top. Jan Nikolovic, I cannot say her name. She is the author. Alright, so one example is, it's heating up. Yeah.
It's already there.
You're going to write it under where it says tag. Declares, and I'm not going to write Jacanowicz's whole name. I'm just going to put a J. So I said the quote. I said how she said it. She declares it. I wrote her name. Then you do the page number in parentheses and a period. That's how you tag a quote. So if I wanted to give proof that the earth is heating up, I could use this. She said that it's heating up. That is my proof. And I've tagged it with her name. Alright, here's another one. The ocean could be 3 feet higher a century from now. End quote. Emphasizes.
Under the same one?
Yeah. Jackanowicz, page 79, period. So, this is my other proof. She says that the oceans could be 3 feet higher a century from now. So in 100 years, Watsonville will be at the beach. According to her. So if I'm writing an essay about global warming, and I want to say that the oceans are rising, here is my proof. Jackanowicz says, she emphasizes it, she makes it really strong, that the oceans could be 3 feet higher a century from now. And that's probably true. The oceans probably will be 3 feet higher a century from now. It'll happen slow, though. Alright, the next one is introduce. So can you see me over here? So introduce. Introduce is the name plus the quote. So your name goes first and your quote goes second. So here's the first example. According to explain why exactly that happens. We'll learn it later. But whenever you have a quote after, you always put the quote before, the comma before. So according to Kanowich, it's heating up. Parentheses, page number, period. So I've introduced her to the quote. Jukanowicz introduces the quote. According to Jukanowicz, comma, it's heating up, parentheses, page number, period. All right, another one. Jukanowicz believes that, comma, the oceans could be 3 feet higher a century from now. End quote, parentheses, page number, period. So Jukanowicz believes that, comma, the oceans could be 3 feet higher a century from now. End quotations, parentheses, page number, period. Every time you do a quote, you have to put parentheses, page number, period. That is where you got your quote. Because otherwise, who knows where you figured this out? I have no proof you actually found this from a real place. You could be making this quote up. That's why you always put your page numbers. And you always say who said it. Because you want to be accurate. You want to give real proof in your quotes. Otherwise, no one's going to believe you. Because I could say anything if I didn't have to put citations. I could tell you anything. You'd never know if I was telling you the truth. Same thing in your writing. You have to put citations. Did we all write this one down? Yeah. All right, I'm erasing. Because it's the last one. And the last one, like I said, is the more difficult one. Now we're on to the fun. So you might have seen tag and introduce in your elementary schools. I know that some of your junior high teachers, are starting to introduce these. But you probably haven't seen embedding. So, embed. Embed is the sentence plus the quote plus a sentence. It's not two sentences. It's sentence, quote, and the rest of the sentence all in one. So here's your example.
I won't zoom anymore.
Won't zoom anymore?
No.
Here's the first example. Jukanowicz warns.
It works.
Good. The Earth is heating up. So there's my quote. At a rapid rate. Parentheses, page number, period. So I embedded this part of the quote into the middle of my sentence. This type of quotations, this type of use of the quotations, says a lot more than this, doesn't it? I'm using the same quote as, according to Jukanowicz, it's heating up. But this one says a lot more. It's telling me not only that the Earth is heating up, but that it's heating up at a rapid rate. And again, I shoved it into the middle there, violently. All right, one more. According to Jukanowicz, the oceans could be 3 feet higher in a few years. Quotation, parentheses, page number, period. According to Jukanowicz, the oceans could be 3 feet higher in a few years. So again, I shoved that thing right into the middle of my sentence. Y'all got that written down? All right, go ahead and look at the back. You'll notice on the back there are about 30 different words to use instead of saying said, says, or states. Said, says, and states are very boring ways to say things.